Would you like some good quality anime merch? Well, you can get that from our sponsor today, Beautiful Halo, link in the description. And on your next $49 plus order, get 5% off with the code MEME, and $99 plus order with code MEME for 10% off. Right before we begin this video, I just want to shout out my friend Hxmesh. Yes, he's my guy, and he just started a YouTube channel, and go subscribe to him, show him some love. He does Warzone videos. He just started, and his videos are actually kind of way better than mine. I started with 360p videos. He started with 1080p. Ways. Anywho, now if you guys can go subscribe to him, show him some love, I'd appreciate it a lot, and he would too. And anywho, let's get right into the video. Roll the intro. Welcome back, guys. This is THEKINGofWEEBS here, and this is what if Kakashi adopted Naruto Part 3 finale. And yes, this will be the finale, and I will try to make this short because I actually need to do something real fast. And well, I'm sorry if it's like 40 minutes, maybe less, but it is what it is. Anywho, hope you still enjoy my channel, and I will be making a new wife soon. Anywho, last time we left off with Naruto actually consoling Shikamaru about Asuma's death, and basically telling him that he will be there with him to fight Akatsuki, and he will help him. And of course, now a week later, they actually go off with, Team 7, and it's Sai, Yamato, Kakashi, and Naruto, and Yamato actually becomes the new team leader for Team 10. Of course, after this, now Naruto, who has been getting ready to fight the Akatsuki because he needs to annihilate all of the Akatsuki, especially after what happened to Gaara. He knows that he's pretty begrudging against them. He really hates them, and it is what it is. Now, of course, once they arrive, I was about to say Orochimaru again, Shikamaru actually takes on Hidan on his own, and basically Naruto and Kakashi actually take on Kakuzu together. And yes, the rest just watch and just see how the two father and son tag team just annihilate Kakuzu, and Kakashi takes on 3 hearts, and Naruto takes on the real heart, and the other the actual water heart. Yes, the water style heart. And of course, Kakashi took on the fire, lightning, and wind heart. Anywho, after this, Naruto, there was a football there. Naruto, of course, throws her Sun Shuriken and annihilates Kakuzu, and then Shikamaru returns alive, and Naruto's I guess you finished it off, and basically Shikamaru's like, yeah. Anywho, after this, they return to the village, and of course, during this time, Saki actually decides to kill Orochimaru because she knows Orochimaru is a danger to the village, and she needs to get rid of it as fast as possible. And so she kills him, and she never creates a Team Talk or anything, or Team Hebi, and so she actually leaves on her own. And once she meets Kisame, when Kisame says, "You can just go, I'll see if anyone follows you," and Saki's like, No, thank you. I shall kill you here, Kisame. And basically, Kisame is getting kind of cocky, aren't you? And as soon as he says this, his head actually falls to the ground. And yes, Saki, I'm pretty sure I told you guys that she has wood release, and she was actually she actually binded him, and she actually cut off his head with the lightning car. Yes, it's basically a lightning blade, and the one that she used against Orochimaru. But it is what it is. After this, Naruto, of course, after this, Saki actually goes off on her own to find, Itachi, and Itachi gets annihilated. Well, he doesn't kind of get annihilated. He gets annihilated at the beginning, but then he actually starts fighting properly, and Saki's way stronger than the original Sasuke here. So Itachi has so much to do here. Not only keep up with Saki's wood release and well, you know, all the other releases she has, and of course him being blind, she actually then Saki actually wants to end the fight and then just take custody of you know, Itachi, return to the village, and then ask him there. And of course when she actually does the Kirin, yes, she still learns the Kirin. Of course Itachi uses her his you know Susanoo, and here of course they both faint after Itachi's death, and basically Saki then wakes up, still tries to burn up, you know, his what's his name, I forgot, Obita-man. Anywho, Toby. Anyways, now I'm just gonna leave it there. And of course during this time, of course, the word about Saki actually being able to kill Orochimaru spread around the whole entire world, well, Shinobi world, and it is what it is now. So Naruto heard about this and he kind of went into a depressed state, but it is what it is. And now Jiraiya, of course, actually going to fight Pain, and just saying, and I'm pretty sure I gave Naruto, you know, the Sage mode. Yes, I did give Naruto Sage mode. Jiraiya actually having mastered Sage mode, he actually goes off on his own to fight Pain, and well, to find intel about Pain. In the original, he didn't actually go to end Pain. He actually wanted to get information about Pain and then escape, but of course he, in the end, he got caught up in the fight. It was too late, and in the end he just gave up everything to find a bit more information. But in the end, he just had his final stand with his massive, you know, Rasengan and died. Of course, that's really sad. I cried a lot then, but it is what it is now. Of course, here Jiraiya, instead of actually continuing to fight, actually decides to reverse summoning jutsu himself into the village. Yes, he actually fell on top of the Tsunade's desk, and Tsunade's like, "What are you doing, Jiraiya?" And basically she realizes that Jiraiya is injured quite a bit. He lost an arm, and his throat is actually, you know, broken, and he has literally rods inside of him, and literally he's in a critical situation. Of course Naruto finds out about this, and after Jiraiya actually recovers a week later, of course he tells everything to Naruto. But as he was telling this to Naruto, of course Pain actually attacked the village. And now we skip back to Saki. Now in Saki, what happened, what was happening with Saki, it was actually that of course she was actually talking with you know, Obito, and Obito told her everything and said that Danzo is the reason why Itachi did everything, and basically what are you gonna do after this. And basically Saki, who wasn't really, well, she actually was really extremely pissed at Danzo. She never really wanted to destroy the village, but her hate actually started to come back out. And remember here, Saki never really used the curse mark much, but of course that hate actually amplified the curse mark, and she was just pissed off, and so she decided to become basically the Sasuke of this what if. And yeah, here a lot of things go different. For example, you know how Saki goes on to fight, you know, Killer Bee on her own. Yes, here Saki is actually able to kill, actually capture Killer Bee, but of course this is during the Pain attack. Of course in the Pain attack, here team of course since Yamato is the leader of Team 10, of course Yamato actually was outside the village with Team 10 this time, so Shikamaru was never in the village, and so a lot of, for example, Shizune wouldn't die, protecting, you know, Ino and everything, and it is what it is. Now, of course, Naruto just goes and blitzes past everyone, and just stops the 6 paths of pain right before, you know, they cause any more destruction. And Naruto then looks at them, yeah, and literally stares at them and lets out all of his bloodlust. And one of them actually fell to the ground, and that was the human path. Yes, the human path actually fell to the ground from Naruto's bloodlust, and literally Naruto started walking towards the human path, and of course the Pain's pretty much being paralyzed, literally, except for the Diva path. Naruto steps on the, you know, human path's head, and literally tries to destroy it. But as he was doing that, Naruto, right before he hit on the Diva, the human path's head, he nearly stomped on it. Naruto gets pushed back, and by an almighty push, I said Ultima. Anyway, almighty push, and then a rod actually comes flying towards his, you know, chest area, and he stabs through him. But Naruto then backflips and lands on his 2 feet, and basically Naruto then says, "Alright then," and literally teleports behind them. Yes, Naruto actually was able to leave a seal, onto the ground that he was standing on. And yes, Naruto actually of course the paths were actually moving forward and literally tried to blitz Naruto, but Naruto teleported behind them and created a few clones which actually were able to touch all of them, and they all disappeared, and Naruto actually took them to the Valley of the End. Of course here Naruto had a lot of space, and yes, Naruto actually has a seal there, and because Naruto actually left seals around the village, and that was one place that he left there in case something like, you know, a Saki happens again. Yes, I call it a Saki. Anyway, now this fight would be a lot different since Naruto is alone. He doesn't have to worry about anyone else. Naruto is a perfect sage anyway, and right now he's not even in sage mode. Of course, Naruto begins his fight with actually, trying to blitz the paths, and just saying Naruto never even got any info about the pains, especially because, you know, while Jiraiya was trying to talk about the pains, the attack actually began, and so as soon as the pains actually attacked, Naruto blitzed away. And of course now Naruto's fighting alone, and some people saw Naruto actually teleported away and they said it, but of course remember Naruto's hated, so some people are just like, that kid should die. After all, remember Naruto is the Nine Tails, and they don't really want the Nine Tails. They don't understand what losing the Nine Tails would mean to them, and of course they're like, finally that Nine Tails is gone. And basically Kakashi was worried sick and literally started blitzing around everywhere possible, trying to find him, but of course he couldn't really find him. There was no real trace, but out of nowhere there was a massive explosion in the distance, and so he starts body flickering there. And yes, Kakashi does know body flicker. I'm pretty sure Kakashi, of course he knows it. He has 1,000 jutsus. Anyway, now Naruto, of course, actually trying to do a Rasen Shuriken, actually, of course, misses because of the pains actually just moving out of the way, because the pains don't want to give too much information away. But then Naruto creates another one to actually then, hit one of the pains at least. But the absorbing path actually absorbs the entire Rasen Shuriken Naruto that we want. And just saying, Naruto actually left a few the clones actually teleported, the pains away. They actually all disappeared, and they actually were in the woods actually recovering, again, sage energy, nature energy, and basically, of course, one of them poofed away, and Naruto's eyes started to have, Naruto had pigment in his eyes, and basically Naruto then blitzed one of them, and Naruto's so fast that the pains couldn't even keep up with the Rinnegan, I repeat, with the Rinnegan. And he, of course, Naruto already had the Rasengan, and Odama Rasengan, a Rasengan, and then literally, sorry, anyway, of course, Naruto was blitzed in front of one of them and literally destroyed the Naraka Path. Yes, it was the Naraka Path, because the Naraka Path actually threw a few missiles at Naruto, which he had to dodge. And he's like, nah, this guy's dangerous. Man has some weird type of thing in that. Like, I don't know, he might pull out a laser and that out of his ass and that. And so he actually destroyed it with one Rasengan. But then all the other pains tried to attack him. The human path actually tried to steal Naruto's soul and then give the soul back afterwards to seal him away, but of course he failed because Naruto was able to teleport somewhere else and then teleport behind him again. Yes, Naruto actually left a kunai there and literally Rasen Shuriken him into the air, and literally the explosion happened up in the air, and Kakashi was able to see this, actually finding out a bit more information now about Naruto's location, and so he actually started going there, and a lot of Jonin and Anbu actually head into that place too. And now 2 paths are already out of the way, and of course now Naruto only had 4 more to go, but the human path kind of got pissed off that 2 of her subordinates got annihilated, and so she let loose, and basically Naruto, who of course summoned the 3 toads, they took the summonings on, and basically now Naruto actually decides to create a few thousands of clones. I'm joking, he only creates a few hundreds of clones, and literally they all teleport around the pains, and the Diva Path actually uses an almighty push, and he tries to destroy most of the clones, but Naruto, luckily, since he was actually pretty fast, was able to come behind the the summoning path and break a neck. Literally, after this, the summoning path actually fell to the floor and the summonings actually disappeared. Of course, then Naruto looked at Gamabunta and the rest, and of course they disappeared too. And yeah, after this, the Diva Puff actually decided to start fighting, and Naruto, of course, saw the King of Hell Puff summoning something, and then throwing the Naraka Puff inside it, and the Naraka Puff walking out of it, all cleaned up. But then the Naraka Puff literally laser beamed Naruto, and basically Naruto got a laser through his chest, and through his stomach, and still stood up with his Sage Mode still on, and literally used the remaining bits of his chakra, destroying the two, actually using a Rasen Shuriken. Literally Naruto was so fast that even the so fast that they couldn't keep up, and destroyed the two. And then basically the of course the Diva Puff actually threw a few a few rods at Naruto, and they were meant to hit Naruto's shoulder and legs, so he could paralyze Naruto. And yeah, of course, as those were heading towards Naruto, then out of nowhere, Kakashi with the Sharingan actually appeared in front of Naruto and got stabbed instead. But this time Kakashi got actually stabbed next to the neck, near the neck bone, and into the hip, and fell to the ground. And of course Naruto looked down, and basically Kakashi wasn't moving, and yes, Kakashi died. Of course Naruto was freaking pissed, and so he actually let loose and allowed the Nine Tails to take over. And so Naruto, of course, already being in Six Tails form, he actually being a bit conscious, decided to actually move away from Kakashi and literally start fighting these two on his own. And basically, of course, Naruto actually created the Tail Beast one to actually throw them away, but of course the absorbing one actually absorbed the Tail Beast. It took him like a few seconds, but he was able to do it. And as he was actually finished, Naruto came out of nowhere and literally grabbed the the absorbing Puff, and literally squeezed him to death, and then threw him away. And of course then Naruto lost control when he was Seven Tails, and all the bones actually started coming, and basically then he actually took on the Diva Puff. The Diva Puff had a pretty amazing fight against Naruto, but of course in the end he actually still died, especially because Naruto nearly being at 8 Tails, of course Pain or Nagato actually using the planetary devastation, Naruto still got sucked into it, and of course Naruto still met his father. Of course Naruto was really happy about finding out about the full Hokage, and so Naruto wasn't really that pissed at the beginning, especially because thanks to everyone hating him, he actually got a good father, and now look at him, he's so strong. But of course he was still kind of pissed that no one told him, but it is what it is. Anywho, now after this, Naruto actually came out of the planetary devastation and looked down in his Sage Mode, and then blitzed the Diva Path, and the Diva Path's almighty push, but Naruto actually being able to withstand this for some reason. And then Naruto looking forward, and out of nowhere the Diva Path's like, how? And basically Naruto's like, doesn't matter how. And basically as soon as he says this, he creates a Rasengan, and this Rasengan actually wasn't only blue, but he actually turned orange, and Naruto's actually using a bit of the Nine Tails chakra. Yes, Naruto then, after destroying the Diva Puff, not destroying, literally annihilating him, then out of nowhere, not only Naruto's eyes with this pigment showed, but orange steam came out of Naruto, and that was literally the Naruto using the Nine Tails chakra with a bit of control. Instead of using the cloak, he was actually controlling the Nine Tails chakra he was taking, and now it just showed how much of a strain that was. And Naruto was on one knee, but then actually picked up actually took out one of the rods and used it to track down Nagato, and actually went off to find Nagato. Of course Nagato was like, wow, you actually destroyed me, whatever. And here they had the same speech, and yes, Naruto never had the speech with Pain, but it's actually here that of course they have the little speech, and I'm gonna roll it in now. Yes, I know this is kind of mad, but yeah, it is what it is.
You asked me why I'm doing all this. But even if I told you why, I doubt very strongly that the knowledge would change anything at all. But let's say that I take the time to explain it to you. What do you think would happen then? My goal is to fulfill the dream even Jiraiya-sensei was unable to achieve. What I want is to create peace and bring about justice. Oh, I see. That is noble of you. That would be justice. However, what about my family? My friends. My village. They suffered the same fate as this village at the hands of you Hidden Leaf Ninja. How is it fair to let only you people preach about peace and justice? Once, the Land of Fire and the Hidden Leaf had grown too big. To protect their national interests, they forced feudal clans to wage war against each other, and profited from it. Otherwise, the people of the villages would have starved. As it happened, our little nation and its villages became the battlefield where the great nations waged their war. Each time they did, our nation was ravaged and laid to waste. After many such battles, the great nation stabilized, but our smaller nation suffered, and it barely recovered. You and I are both seeking the very same thing. We both want to achieve the peace that Jiraiya-sensei envisioned. You and I are the same. We're both motivated by our desire for peace and justice. The justice that I have delivered against the Leaf Village is no different from what you are trying to do to me. Everyone feels the same pain when losing something dear. You and I have both experienced that pain. You strive for your justice, and I strive for mine. We're both just ordinary men who have been driven to seek vengeance in the name of justice. And if one comes to call vengeance justice, such justice will only breed further vengeance and trigger a vicious cycle of hatred. Right now, we live in such a cycle. I know the past and can foretell our future. It is the same as our history. So we believe that human beings simply cannot understand each other, and they never will. The shinobi world of ours is ruled by hatred, and hatred alone. So, Naruto, how would you confront this hatred in order to create peace? I want to know what your answer is.
I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Anywho, after the Diva Path, Nagato actually talked to Naruto. Of course, Naruto still gave him the Taka no Jutsu that he's going to be the savior of this world. He's going to actually change the world. He's going to stop the cycle of hatred, and he's going to save everyone and create peace in the world. And of course, Nagato actually believed in Naruto, and so he actually revived the people that the small amount of people he actually killed in the attack. And his father, of course, once basically, Kakashi woke up without the rods, and just saying, Naruto actually took off the rods from Kakashi's body, and literally Kakashi was on the next to a tree where Naruto actually hid him, and then he stood up and he was looking for Naruto and saw all the destruction. No, sorry, not hid him. Naruto once, before he actually went off, he actually took off the rods, and he hid him. My bad, I read the script completely wrong, and I was like, wait, what? My brain couldn't calculate what I just said. Anywho, now, of course, Naruto actually then says goodbye to Nagato and Conan, and basically Conan goes off with Nagato's and Yahiko's body. Of course, here, Obito still attacks Conan, and Conan still believes that she can actually destroy Obito, and that's why she didn't hide Nagato's eyes, and she didn't want to take them off of Nagato's body in the first place. That's another reason she didn't wanna. She wanted to respect her friend. But something I actually wonder sometimes is, what would have, if that plan worked, what would have Conan done afterwards? Would she commit suicide? Would she become the next leader of the Rain Village? Who knows? I don't know. You guys do know? You can make fanfics or something, but it is what it is. Of course, now Naruto returning to the village actually returns to, where his father was, and basically Kakashi was actually searching near that place, and the Valley of the End, because there was a lot of destruction, and basically Naruto found Kakashi and basically started running towards Kakashi, and Kakashi ran towards him, but then Naruto actually fell. And yeah, after this, of course, Naruto and Kakashi hugged, and basically Kakashi's also worried, and basically Naruto's like, I'm sorry, but I was able to beat pain, and now look, I even well, of course, he explained that he met the seventh pain and everything, and here's what it is. Naruto returns as a hero to the village, and the village actually saw, like, they could see the explosions happening from far away, and they can feel the shockwaves, and they did see a massive rock in the sky, and then the Naruto was actually popping out but then disappearing, and they realized, and everyone now knew that Naruto was actually the Naruto's Jinchuriki, and of course Sakura was confused, and yeah, it is what it is. Naruto explained, and he was considered as the hero of the village. But of course then a 5 Kage summit was actually announced, because Killer Bee was actually captured by Saki, and the Raikage was freaking pissed. And yes, Killer Bee actually lost to Saki, especially because Saki had, you know, all those abilities, especially wood release. But it is what it is. Of course, this time actually it wasn't well, of course Tsunade still went, but Danzo and you know, what's his name, Jiraiya, well, Jiraiya and Danzo went, and the only reason Danzo was actually allowed is because Jiraiya never had an arm, but Tsunade wanted him to go, and it is what it is. Especially because Jiraiya was fully recovered by now. And yeah, of course Naruto hears about Saki, about the Raikage wanting to kill Saki, but of course Saki's actually heading towards the, you know, the 5 Kage summit, and no one can really beat her. The Raikage is no match to Saki right now. Saki could annihilate him, but of course she's not going to kill him because that's not her initial target. But it is what it is. If she gets in the way, if he tries to protect Danzo, she will kill him. It doesn't matter to her who she kills, as long as she, no, well, it doesn't matter to her who she kills, but if Danzo gets in the way, and of course protects, the Raikage gets in her way against Danzo, she will annihilate him at any moment. But it is what it is. Of course Naruto actually headed there with Kakashi, after telling Kakashi that he actually met the Hokage, and well, his father, and telling him that the true mastermind behind everything, and even the Naruto's attack, it wasn't really the Naruto's, it was the mastermind Madara Uchiha who actually well, planned everything, and all the things that have been happening, and the true leader of the Akatsuki is actually Madara Uchiha. And of course the the only members of the Akatsuki right now are Obito, Zetsu, and no one else. Yes, especially because well, you could say Saki actually left now, but you could say that Kabuto is one of them, because Kabuto actually still met up with Obito during the time that Saki was heading towards the 5 Kage summit, and still told him that he can help him by using, you know, the reanimation jutsu to actually reanimate a lot of people. And then he shows the body of Madara Uchiha, and basically Obito's like, how did you get your hands into this? And basically then he had to oblige, and basically Kabuto, all he asked for was actually, you know, Saki, and basically Obito was more than willing to actually give up Saki for this beast. Anywho, of course, after this Naruto and Saki still met. Saki still lost her vision, and of course the killing Danzo, Naruto still wanted to bring back Saki to the village, but of course Saki said, sorry, I cannot return to that village anymore. And basically then she explains that she has committed too many sins, and of course the Sakura, finding out that Sasuke is actually a Saki, she was confused. She was really confused at this point. She was baffed. Well, of course she should have found out, but of course even before Saki was acting like she was Sasuke, but she was baffed now. But it was what it is. Naruto then explained, and basically Saki got the Eternal Monkey Sharingan, and Naruto was actually, of course, the 4th Great Ninja War was actually announced, well, not announced, declared, and now everyone was in panic. But of course, since Naruto and Gaara are the last remaining Jinchuriki, Gaara and Naruto actually, of course, Gaara actually having mastered his tail beast by now, and he's actually pretty OP. He's actually the strongest Kage right now. Yes, he's actually the strongest Kage. You could say Onoki is still stronger than Gaara, but still, if you think about it, Onoki is still old, and if he doesn't get a good shot on Gaara, which Gaara could actually dodge easily with his new abilities with sand, Onoki would really lose. And anywho, of course, after this, Naruto is still sent to that same place where Naruto would have to fight, you know, the Narutos, and this time Jiraiya's there with him, and of course Guy, but here there is no Kisame, so of course they can't find Yamato. But it is what it is. Kabuto at this point really didn't need him, especially because he implanted the last remaining Hashirama cells into himself, and he could use Wind Style now. Yes, that's why he didn't care at this point, and it is what it is. Now after this, Naruto of course had to fight the Nine Tails, and here he still meets his mother, but after this, his mother actually explains that she can help him, but Naruto then declines her help and tells her to just watch. And basically, Kushina's like, okay, I'll just watch. And as soon as as soon as she starts watching Naruto actually fighting really well, and not actually fighting for real, now she sees why Naruto never really needed her help in the first place, and he was just holding back this whole time because he wanted to see what the Nine Tails is truly capable of. And Naruto is capable of annihilating the Nine Tails at any moment right now, especially because Naruto was actually able to literally block the Nine Tails in its in its spot, literally by looking at the Nine Tails with a glare, and the Nine Tails could see something different in Naruto. He could see the will of the Sage of Six Path in Naruto, and the Nine Tails. Kuroma's like, kid, you're something else. And as soon as he says this, Naruto appears in front of him with a Rasen Shuriken and just annihilates the Nine Tails. And basically the Nine Tails takes it all, and okay, that sounded wrong, but the Nine Tails takes it and gives up at this point, because realizing that Naruto is something different. He's different from any other Jinchuriki he's ever had. And then basically Naruto says, one day I'll come after your hate too, Nine Tails. And basically, of course, then he goes into KCM, and of course he actually still gets out of the place, and this time Naruto is alone. Of course, Naruto still goes into the war because no one can really stop him at this point. Naruto is actually one of the strongest, and pretty much he's the strongest in the war right now. Even Onoki can't really stop him, and you could say Saki with the perfect Susanoo could, but Naruto is really close to actually having the Nine Tails full cooperation. But then Saki really has no chance against Naruto, and you could say Saki is actually stronger than Naruto with her perfect Susanoo, because she could actually use the perfect Susanoo while Naruto cannot use the Kurama avatar. But it is what it is. That is controversial. Anywho, now of course Naruto still breaks through the barriers, and then of course Jiraiya can't really join the fight. With one arm he can't do anything, and he's actually retired from being a ninja, and so he has to stay back he can't go to the front lines, help out, because Tsunade actually prohibited it to him. And she said that if they actually succeed in this war, Tsunade will give him a shot. And basically Jiraiya is really excited for this. But it is now of course Naruto, who actually arrived at the war. He actually sent his clones to each platoon, and of course each platoon got saved by Naruto pretty much, because if Naruto wasn't there, they would have pretty much lost everyone, especially because they couldn't really tell which one is a Zetsu or not. But it is what it is. Now after this, Naruto actually still met Itachi Uchiha, and of course now that he actually knew about the truth about Itachi, Naruto actually started fighting both Itachi and Nagato together. And yeah, of course Naruto was really he was baffled on how Nagato was actually this strong. And of course he realized that Nagato is stronger at his prime, and since he is a reanimation, he's pretty much at his prime. And basically Naruto was really excited to fight Nagato. But is what is now. After this, Naruto Naruto still let out the the crow that had Shisui's eye in it, and of course Itachi was able to break out the reanimation jutsu, and Itachi went off on his own. And basically after this of course Saki actually came out destroying the Zetsus. She was actually against Obito in the first place, and so she was actually going to go against the Obito and help her in the war. But is where it is, while she was actually heading towards the battlefield, she actually realized who was in front of her, and so she actually followed Itachi, and she asked why did he do everything, because she got a vague answer, but she didn't get the full explanation of. And of course Itachi is like, Saki, I do not have the time for this. And basically then Saki says, listen, these are your eyes, I can see through your lies, tell me why. And of course then she tries to use her Susanoo against Itachi, but Itachi actually using his own Susanoo slaps away the hand, and of course in the end those two actually have a fight of Kabuto, and Naruto has to go up against all the tail beasts on his own, and even Killer Bee, which is going to be even harder now, since Naruto never really got a gist of his true potential with Kurama. Still, he was about to get killed until, of course, Guy and Kakashi actually arrived, and then, Naruto, of course, saved the Four Tails, but then after this, he had to fight another, another few tail beasts, and of course, I don't want to count. Let me count. 6 tail beasts, but it is what it is. Now Naruto, of course, still became friends with the Nine Tails, and the Nine Tails accepted Naruto as his host and friend, and Naruto accepted the Nine Tails as his partner in crime. But it is what it is. Now, of course, Naruto went into his first ever tail beast link with the Kurama, and of course Naruto annihilated the other 6 tail beasts, and of course he still went into that same world where only perfect Jinchurikis can go, and he still meets all the Jinchuriki, and of course he promises them that he will avenge them and he will stop this war. He will bring peace to the Shinobi world, and he will clear out the tail beast's name, and of course he's going to do that. But it is what it is. Now Naruto, of course, still has to go up against Obito. Obito still says same old. Now you still didn't beat me, so technically I win, and I have pretty much all the tail beasts, because he gave up on Naruto, and so he's now about to summon the 10 tails. And of course, during this time, Madara still got reanimated. Now Madara is in the battlefield, and he still annihilated both Onoki and Gaara and Naruto's clone. Yes, Gaara, even with the tail beast, couldn't do shite. Anywho, after this, Obito still summoned the 10 tails. Naruto, Guy, I said Lee accidentally. Naruto, Kakashi, and Guy still will fight. And since Killer Bee wasn't here, they had to fight Obito on their own, and of course Obito still summoned the 10 tails, giving up on Naruto fully now, and just feeding the Gedomazu, Kikaku and Ginkaku's body. And now after this, they actually, the 10 tails got revived, and Naruto realized what this is, and basically Kurama's like, yeah, you have to stop the 10 tails or it's all over. Literally, everything's gonna be destroyed if the 10 tails is not stopped. And of course Naruto understands this, and remember, he's a sage, and of course all the the 5 Kage get annihilated, and of course all of the platoons come together and they find the 10 tails, until of course since the reanimation jutsu was undone by now, of course now Naruto and Saki finds out about the truth about her her brother, and now she actually wants to find out what it means to be a Hokage, because remember, even though she's not Sasuke, she still wants to understand why a Hokage wants to save and protect the village with their lives. And of course Itachi was like the Hokage in her eyes, because he gave up everything. He gave up his family, he gave up his name, he became a rogue ninja just to protect the village he loved, and the village still thought of him as a traitor, but he didn't care at all. He just cared about their safety and everything. And she wants to find out why did Itachi do everything for the village? He gave up literally everything. Like, he had nothing left, to be honest. Like, he gave up his family, he gave up his fame, he gave up his name, he gave up his, of course, sister, and he just wanted to protect her in his ways. Now, of course, she still, brings back Orochimaru, and it's only her and Orochimaru now, and Orochimaru would do anything for Saki now at this point. And so he actually goes with Saki to find, the Hokage, and of course they reanimate the Hokage. And yeah, after this, the Hokage and Saki arrive at the battlefield where Naruto was actually getting healed by Sakura, and basically Team 7's back up, and basically now Sakura's like, so you are a girl after all, and basically Saki's like, sorry, and Sakura's like, it's fine, it is what it is. And yeah, after this, of course, the fight begins, and yeah, here a bit of the story similar until Obito becomes the 10 toes Jinchuriki, and yeah, of course Naruto and Saki have to fight together, and here they actually have a bit more of a power boost, especially because they're fighting together for the first time, and well, not for the first time, together in a while. Even though they're a bit rusty, they're not really a good team right now. Still together with the new powers, the power boost just makes up for the shitey teamwork. But then Naruto actually brings up the concept of working together, like literally uniting their powers, and basically Saki's like, wait, uniting what? And basically she thought of the wrong thing, and Naruto's like, not that. And basically, of course, the ship still keeps going to this day. And of course, just saying, Neji never dies here, and is what it is. I thought of a different ship for Sakura. Anywho, Neji and Sakura. Anywho, now after this, of course, Saki and Naruto kind of annihilate the 10 tails, and basically, of course, together they're actually able to pull out every tail beast. And of course, Shukaku still works with Gaara to, yes, Gaara returned. Shukaku works with Gaara to actually seal away Madara, and of course Madara still, well, Zetsu uses Obito to actually revive Madara, and of course now after this, Madara becomes the 10 toes Jinchuriki. Naruto dies. Saki gets pretty pissed, and she tries to kill Madara herself, but of course it was too late. Even Madara Saki is no match for Madara, reanimated Madara with no eyes. Literally, Madara, even though Saki was much stronger here, using a wood style and everything, Madara was actually able to use his Susanoo blade, his Susanoo ribcage, and literally summoned this blade to stab Saki through her stomach, and basically Saki fell to the ground. But of course, Kabuto arrived and was already saving her, and of course he was healing her as best as possible. But it is what it is. Saki and of course Naruto still met the not 10 toes, the Sage of Six Paths, and basically the sage asked what their goals in life is, and Saki said to actually redeem herself and become someone trusted by the village, and basically trusted by the whole entire shinobi world. And basically Naruto tells him that he still wants to stop the cycle of hatred, and basically these answers were the Sage of Six Paths was happy with these answers, and he's like, alright. And of course now the sage actually gave Saki the eternal, the man said eternal, the Rinne Sharingan, and gave Naruto the Rikidai, his Six Paths Sage Mode. And of course, during this time, Madara and Might Guy had their little fight. I say little, it was pretty freaking big. But his ways, now Naruto appears and saves Guy, and of course Obito actually still stole a ton of, literally a lot more than original of Six Paths Sage Mode chakra, and so he's actually awoken his two Sharingans went into Rinnegan and became Rinnegans, and basically he gave Kakashi's eye back to Kakashi, because remember, it was a gift from Obito, and Obito's like, this was a gift, so you should keep it. And Kakashi's like, but now you don't have an eye, and basically he's like, I have a plan. And so he tells Naruto to regenerate his, if he can regenerate his eye, and Naruto's like, yeah, of course I can. Remember, Naruto has understanding of everything pretty much, and so he would know about this. But his way is, Naruto regenerates his eye, and basically Obito's like, I have a plan, Naruto, and basically he gives the other eye to his father, and basically Naruto's like, that's smart, let me regenerate. And of course Kakashi now has both Rinnegan, but of course Naruto actually literally remakes their eyes into eyes that can actually activate and deactivate the Rinnegan at any moment, because it kind of looks weird to have the Rinnegan at all moments. And yes, this is literally full on plot armor, and I know some people don't really like me using plot armor, but allow it please, guys. Like Kakashi with the Rinnegan at all moments, that's kind of weird. Anyway, of course Kakashi can actually use his Susanoo now, and yeah, of course now the fight against Madara begins. Of course, Saki and Naruto are pretty much annihilating Madara, and Madara, who actually has both Rinnegan by now, of course had 4 Limbo clones, and yeah, it was pretty useless for Madara to actually create them, because Naruto was able to take care of them without even being able to see them. And of course then Naruto, Madara actually having absorbed the God Tree by now, actually then gets told by the god tree to actually Madara decides to actually use the infinite Tsukuyomi, and Saki actually realizes that this is dangerous and Naruto will be trapped in this, and so she saves Naruto, Kakashi, not Sakura this time, Obito, just them four, and so the fight begins. Of course, Madara is betrayed by Zetsu, and so Naruto and Saki actually, Naruto, Saki, and Kakashi and Obito actually start the fight against Kaguya. Of course, Kaguya takes them to her own dimension, and now the actual fight begins. Of course, Naruto had something up his sleeve that no one really knew, and Naruto's actually been saving this technique for a while, and it's the same technique. He hasn't used it in quite a while after the pain fight, and it was literally Naruto using his bloodlust, which was actually pretty freaking high, and of course it's still high as always. Naruto could literally stop anyone in their tracks, but he's not using it yet. But his way is, of course, here I'll say I'm gonna say that Saki and Naruto were actually losing against what's the name, Kaguya, and I'm pretty sure you guys know where I'm going with this. But his way is, of course, Naruto actually then decides to tell Saki to actually get out of this dimension, and Saki's like, wait, what? But why? And Naruto's like, Saki, you have to understand that this is dangerous and we could all die. And basically then he tells Saki that he has a plan and he'll be able to take care of Kaguya on his own. And basically Saki then explains that, tells Naruto again that it's impossible. The Sage of Six Paths said that it's gonna be too hard for you to seal away it's impossible to seal away Kaguya without both the seals. And Naruto then says, just trust in me, and basically then looks at Obito and Kakashi's like, Naruto, are you sure about this? And basically, remember, they could actually win together, especially because there's three Rinnegan users, and one has the Rinne Sharingan. And then Obito then says, alright Naruto, we trust in you, understood? And basically then says, just give me 15 minutes. If in 15 minutes I'm not back out, you guys can come in and help me, okay? I'll survive for 15 minutes. Either I'll kill her or you guys come and help me, and then we'll definitely win. And basically Saki's like, no, why don't we just finish this? And basically Naruto then says, please trust in me, Saki. And of course Naruto wants to do this because he doesn't want Saki to get hurt at all. He doesn't want her to get in the way. Not in the way, he just doesn't want her to literally get injured, especially because Kaguya will be a hard ass opponent, and it is what it is. Now Naruto looks at Kaguya and says, are you ready to die? And basically Kaguya then scoffs and literally says, come back to me, give me my power back. And basically, of course, Naruto then says, this is not your power, this is the power I've gotten from everyone who has helped me in my life. And basically Kaguya then says, give me back my power. And basically as soon as she says this, Naruto then blitzes her and uses his bloodlust and says, I told you before, this is not your power. And basically as soon as he says this, Naruto then out of nowhere lets out a scream and literally creates a then goes into his tail beast mode, and literally punches Kaguya. And Kaguya was pretty pissed at this, and she's like, my own power going against me, how dare you? And of course Naruto then says, this is not your power, I said it multiple times by now, but you don't listen, so I'll have to kill you. And so then Naruto actually creates a tail beast bomb and literally blasts it at Kaguya. But in the meanwhile, Saki is worried about Naruto, and she's like, let's go back in already. Naruto might be I don't want to say the worst, but it could be dangerous. And basically then Obito says, just trust in Naruto. Come on, Saki, Naruto's strong, he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't have a plan. And basically Saki knows that Naruto's not that stupid, but she can't really trust someone like Kaguya, especially if Kaguya is as strong as the sage said. Of course the sage or Six Path actually appeared by now, and he's like, so Naruto's fighting my mother on his own. And basically of course Saki's like, please send me back in there. And basically the sage is like, if Naruto has decided to do this, that means he must have a plan. Of course Kaguya was actually hit by this extremely strong tail beast bomb, and Naruto actually used the tail beast power from all the tail beasts And then he actually comes out his tail beast mode, and literally then looks at Kaguya and lets out another one of his bloodlust bindings, or else that was the name taken from a thing. What's his name? Oh, plus Ultraman. I'll say that Naruto uses his bloodlust to actually stop Kaguya on his on her, in her tracks. And Kaguya's that, what's this? Why is this happening to me? And basically then Naruto says, I told you, this is not your power. And as soon as he says this, Naruto then literally stabs Kaguya in the chest and literally says, so do you now understand? This power is mine. All the people who have helped me get stronger. It's not your power, it's our power. Understood? And as soon as he says this, then literally lets out all of his chakra into his arm and literally cuts Kaguya open, and not cuts her open, literally then pulls out his hand, and with a Rasengan, literally a rainbow Rasengan, literally annihilates Kaguya with this Rasengan, and Kaguya gets literally destroyed, like gets hit so hard that then she actually disappears, and Naruto actually killed her fully, literally annihilated her, erased her from this existence. And basically Naruto is like, you understand? And of course Zetsu was completely baffed when he saw this, well, of course when he was seeing this. And then out of nowhere Naruto then saw a mark on his palm, and he's like, what is this? And basically then Naruto, with his all universal understanding, understood what this is, and basically opened the portal. And it's been 15 minutes, and basically Obito was actually getting ready to actually return into the dimension, and he was about to he brought Kakashi and Saki together, and now he's about to bring them back into the dimension. But then Naruto actually came out of a rift, literally a rift created by Naruto's Karma Seal. Yes, a Karma Seal. And I want to implement this in a lot of ways, because I'm going to take it into Boruto. Yes, this is one of the series that will be going into Boruto, and you will understand why, because Naruto's sick. Anywho, now of course Obito was completely baffed on how Naruto came out of there on his own, and he's like, wait, Naruto, what happened? And basically Naruto then says that he killed Kaguya, and basically smiles, and Saki, being worried sick, literally jumps on Naruto and says to never do that again. And basically Naruto's like, I won't, don't worry. And basically of course after this Kakashi looks at Naruto and says, Naruto, I swear if you do that again one more time, I'm going to kill you, understood? And basically Naruto's like, you're my father, fam, allow it. And basically of course Obito actually smiles at Naruto and says, I guess you are the one. And basically Naruto just smiles and says, believe it. And after this, of course, Saki and Naruto released everyone from the Infinite Tsukuyomi. And of course Naruto and Saki of course Saki actually returned to the village, and she was actually imprisoned. And basically Naruto, who never lost an arm, actually literally said, ayo, free Saki. And of course the sixth Hokage was announced, and it was Kakashi, and Kakashi wanted to give the Hokage spot to Obito, but then Obito actually said, no thank you, I'd rather be the Hokage assistant, since you deserve way more than me. And Kakashi was like, wait, what? The Hokage assistant, but why? And basically Obito's like, I did way too many bad things in my life, you deserve way more than me. You've been with the village for your whole entire life, and now look at you. I bet Rin would be really proud of you. And basically Kakashi and Obito go to Rin's Rin's grave, and basically talk to her. Well, of course they talk to her. They don't really talk to her, they just say, look, Rin, you're reunited. And basically of course then Obito sheds a few tears, but then they actually return, and basically Naruto is literally in front of the prison, and he's like, let her out already, you freaking pricks, she saved this world, let her out. And basically of course Kakashi then says that they should let Saki out, and Saki's like, but why? And basically the next day she decides to actually go off on a journey, and basically Naruto says, no, how about you just repent in the village, and basically says just help out the village instead of going on your trip of repentance, or whatever you want to call it. But of course Saki wants to decline, but then Naruto looks at her one more time, and basically Saki then's like, alright, I'll stay, and basically, of course, all ends well. All ends well, and yeah, after this, of course, Saki remains, and that's where I'm gonna end off. Hope you'll enjoyed it. This was the King of Weebs here, and this was the final part. It was a bit shorter than usual. I'm pretty sure this is like 44 minutes, but it is what it is. I wanted to cover a lot of it, and I need to do something real quick right now. It's 11 p.m. I have to have a shower. I have to do the thing I have to do. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. Please take care, stay safe. This was the King of Weebs. Don't forget to subscribe to Kazama, Hxmesh, my friend Ratreet, and also my boy Miniman123. And also don't forget to follow Shulker on Instagram, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and join my Discord server. And all links are in the description below. And also, if you want to buy some good quality anime merch, you can go to Beautiful Halo, use code MEME for 10% off on your next $99 plus order. And also, if you're ordering for only $49 plus, you can use code MEME to actually get 5% off. And it is what it is. Hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to use my link so you can support the channel. And yeah, I will be streaming in a few days. Yes, it's going to be a pretty long stream because I haven't streamed in a while. It's probably going to be on a weekend at night, but here's what it is. Anywho, hope you enjoyed it. Please, guys, take care, stay safe. This disease is still out there. And anywho, my ducklings, you're dismissed, and peace.